Racist. It's a single word, 7 letters. Yet few words in America carry more power. It can end careers, destroy reputations, split families, start national debates, even influence elections. For decades, being called a racist has been one of the most serious accusations a person can face. But today, that word seems to appear everywhere. On television, social media, in classrooms, at work, in politics. Sometimes after a single sentence, sometimes after a single tweet, sometimes before the full story is even known. So here's the question almost nobody wants to ask. Has the word become so common that it's beginning to lose its meaning? Or are we simply recognizing forms of racism that previous generations ignored? Tonight, we're not here to shout. We're not here to pick a side. We're here to investigate how one word became the most powerful and controversial labels in modern America. Imagine this. You're sitting at work. You're having lunch with a few coworkers. Someone makes a joke. Maybe it's funny. Maybe it's awkward. Maybe it lands. Maybe it doesn't. Everyone forgets about it, or at least that's what used to happen. Today, one person records it. A 30-second clip appears online, and within hours, thousands of strangers have watched it. People you've never met are analyzing your character. News articles begin appearing. Your employer is contacted. Friends stop returning your calls. Family members are asking, what happened? What happened? The original joke almost doesn't matter anymore. Because now the conversation is shifted. There's only one question everyone wants answered. Is this person racist? Whether the accusation is true, false, or somewhere in between, the label itself often becomes bigger than the event that started it. That's what makes this word different. There are plenty of insults, there are plenty of accusations, but few words carry consequences quite like this one. For many people, being called racist is worse than being called ignorant. Worse than being called dishonest.
We both know that
sometimes
you are being
even worse than being accused of breaking the law.
I'm calling the police. You broke the law.
Why? Because racism isn't usually viewed as a mistake. It's viewed as a reflection of someone's character. And once people believe they know your character, changing their minds becomes incredibly difficult, which raises an uncomfortable question. Has the definition of racism changed over time? Or has society simply become better at recognizing it? To answer that, we have to understand where this word came from. Where did the word come from? To understand why this word carries so much weight, we have to go back. Long before social media, long before 24-hour news cycles, long before viral videos. The idea behind racism has existed for centuries. History is filled with examples of society dividing people by ethnicity, nationality, religion, and ancestry. But in the United States, the word racist became deeply connected to one of the darkest chapters in American history: slavery. Later, segregation. For decades, laws openly separated Americans based on race. Schools, restaurants, neighborhoods, even drinking fountains. There wasn't much debate about whether those policies were racist. They were written into law. People could point directly to them. Then came the Civil Rights Movement. Millions of Americans watched peaceful protesters face violence simply for demanding equal treatment under the law. Those images changed public opinion. Slowly, painfully, but permanently. By the late 20th century, something remarkable had happened. Being publicly labeled a racist had become socially unacceptable across much of American society. Most ordinary people wanted nothing to do with it. The accusation carried enormous moral weight, And that's exactly why it became so powerful. Because unlike many insults, this wasn't just saying someone had made a mistake. It suggested something much deeper. That prejudice wasn't simply something they had done. It was something they were. So how did a word once reserved for obvious acts of racial discrimination become one of the most debated terms in modern America? To answer that, we have to look at what changed. Not in the dictionary, but in the way we communicate with each other. For most American history, conversations were local. If someone made an offensive comment, only the people in the room heard it. Maybe word spread around town, maybe it didn't. Either way, the momentum usually disappeared. Then the internet arrived, then smartphones, then social media. Suddenly, every person was carrying a camera. Every conversation had the potential to become public. Every mistake could become permanent. And that's when something changed. Not necessarily the word itself, but the speed at which it spread. Today, someone can make a comment in New York, and millions of people in California, Texas, Florida, or even another country can be debating it before lunch. For the first time in history, millions of strangers could judge someone they had never met based on a 15-second clip, a screenshot, or a headline. Sometimes, those clips expose behavior that absolutely deserved public attention. History is full of examples where discrimination remained hidden until someone recorded it, without cameras. Many stories might never have been delivered, but critics argue there's another side to the reality. What if the clip is incomplete? What if important context is missing? What if the headline leaves out key details? Social media rarely rewards patience. It rewards speed. The first opinion, the strongest reaction, the most emotional response. Algorithms don't necessarily reward careful investigation. They reward attention. And nothing captures attention quite like outrage. Whether the outrage is justified or completely misplaced, which means something important happened. The accusation itself became content. A single word could generate millions of views, thousands of comments, entire news segments, and endless debate, for better or worse. The internet transformed accusations into entertainment. The public became the jury, social media became the courtroom, and everyone suddenly had a vote. But if technology changed how accusations spread, politics changed how they were used. Politics, perception, and the battle over a word. Today, it's almost impossible to separate the word racist from politics. Listen to one television network, and you'll hear one story. Switch to another, and you'll hear something completely different. One side argues that racism continues to influence many parts of society, and that people are finally being held accountable for behavior that was ignored in the past. The other argues that the accusation is now sometimes applied too far quickly, even to policy disagreements or questions that have nothing to do with racial prejudice. Each side believes it's protecting something important. One believes it's protecting equality, the other believes it's protecting open debate. That's why conversations so often go nowhere. Two people can watch the exact same event, hear the exact same words, see the exact same video, and walk away believing completely different things happened. So, has the word racist changed, or has America changed? The answer may be more complicated than either side wants to admit. So, has the word racist become one of the most overused words in America? Or are we finally recognizing prejudice in ways previous generations refused to acknowledge? The truth is, there isn't a simple answer, because words evolve, societies evolve, and the way we understand each other evolves too. But one thing is certain. Words only have power if people agree on what they mean. And today, it seems Americans can't even agree on that. Some believe the word is protecting people from genuine discrimination. Others believe it's increasingly being used to silence disagreement or shut down difficult conversation. Maybe both concerns deserve to be taken seriously, because if we label everything racist, the word risks losing the precision that once gave it so much force. But if we ignore real racism, history has already shown us the cost of looking the other way. So perhaps the real question isn't whether the word is overused. Maybe the real question is, can a country have an honest conversation about race if nobody can agree on what racism actually is? I'd like to hear your perspective. Do you think the meaning of the word has changed? Or do you think society has simply become better at recognizing racism where it already existed? Leave your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this investigation and want more documentaries that ask the questions most people avoid, subscribe to Goldfinger Classified, because sometimes the most controversial questions are the ones worth asking.